town. Tonight, we step back to the glory days of the sweet science, outdoors at one of the great parks in the land. It is welcome Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Jack Dempsey, and Gene Tunney. Tonight, Chicago welcomes back boxing outdoors for the first time in 50 years. We're at U.S. Cellular Field, home of the Chicago White Sox, for Friday Night Fights. Welcome into the nation's second city, the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, as Corona Extra presents Friday Night Fights. What a beautiful skyline, including the world-famous Ferris wheel of the Navy Pier. We're on the south side of town making history. For the first time ever on Friday Night Fights, we are broadcasting a boxing card from a major league ballpark. Around 10,000 fans expected, and what a view, huh? How about it? It should be an amazing night. Normally, we don't give you the weather forecast, but we do now because it matters. And it couldn't be any better. The temperature, 73 degrees, a slight breeze, low humidity in the forecast, as you can see, clear and cool. Welcome into U.S. Cellular Field. My name is Todd Grisham, and as excited as we are about tonight's venue, we're even more excited about tonight's fight card. In the main event, ladies and gentlemen, it is Andre Fonfara taking on Gabriel Campillo. Fonfara, a Polish fighter from Chicago, and a lot's on the line. The winner gets a guaranteed mandatory title shot at the light heavyweight championship of the world. Also tonight, Nigel Collins will take a look back at the storied history of outdoor fights here in Chicago. And then joining me live on set, he won a World Series as a manager of the Chicago White Sox in 2005. It's Ozzie Guillen. But first things first, it's the rematch we've been dying to see, and it happens here tonight. They fought back in February. It's from the heavyweight division. Mike Mollo taking on Artur Szpilka. Now that fight was bloody, it was brutal, and it may have been the best fight we've seen all year. Mike Mollo is from Chicago. He promised us that busloads of family and friends will be here tonight to root him on as he takes on Poland's Artur Szpilka. Now, before we bring you the rematch live, we're going to re-air their first fight from February. Now, if you haven't seen it, don't worry, I'm not going to ruin it by telling you what happens. If you have seen it, you know you want to see it again. It was just that good. For more on the particulars, let's go live into the ring. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas standing by.
Thank you, Todd. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas here for what is undoubtedly, in the 17 years of Friday Night Fights, one of the most spectacular venues we have ever seen. High energy here in Chicago tonight, everybody. Teddy, you know the beauty of our sport, boxing, is you never know when you're going to get that something special. We got that something special back on February 1st. In moments, we're going to have the heated rematch between Artur Szpilka and Mike Mollo. The fans here at the ballpark are going to watch the first fight on the Jumbotron. The actual fighters and trainers are going to be watching along down there in the locker rooms as the fans at home get a real treat as Szpilka and Mollo 1 will be brought to them. Teddy, your lasting impressions of that first bloody heavyweight bout?
Reminded me of a crazy game that we used to play when I was a kid. It was called Chesties. I don't know if anyone else played that, but we used to play it in the schoolyard and on the corner where you'd stick your chest out and you'd let the guy bang, bang, take shots at you, and then you would take shots back at him until somebody finally gave in. The only difference is they were playing faces. It's brutal, but it was pretty special. Grab some towels, put your seatbelt on, sit back, and one good thing, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as it hurt them. Watch.
It was a blood-soaked night back in February here in Chicago. The tail of the tape heading into their first fight, it looked like this. Mike Mollo felt disrespected, a victim of boxing's challenging business model, a 20-win veteran but coming off a 2.5-year layoff. He broke his toe, he was limited in training, a clear-cut underdog. Meanwhile, Szpilka came in hardened and angry, still pressing along a tough road. Had his jaw broken in a win prior, but he was playing the role of younger, fresher, up-and-comer. Here's round one of their first fight. Enjoy.
Gentlemen, you receive your instruction in the dressing room and expect to please fight and obey my command at all times. 8 rounds with Celestino Ruiz as the referee. Mike Mollo, Artur Szpilka. Intense atmosphere here pre-fight between these fans. The Chicago native, but of course, great Polish community here in Chicago.
Get that out.
Szpilka 12-0 with 9 knockouts.
Get that water bottle. Hey, get that water bottle. Nothing in the ring.
First of all, if you're Szpilka's corner, you want him to attack early and take advantage of the inactivity recently of Mollo. 2.5 years since Mollo's been in the ring. Matter of fact, to say that he's been inactive is putting it too mildly. It actually looks like he's been retired. Off 2.5 years since his last fight, and 2 fights before that was off 1 year and 4 months. So again, if you're the southpaw Szpilka, I would think you want to take advantage of that rust, that inactivity of Mollo.
Mollo fought twice in 2008, lost to Andrew Galata and Jamil McCline. Didn't fight in 2009. Fought twice in 2010, a win and a draw. Didn't fight the past 2 years.
Nothing fancy about Mollo. Tough guy, right in front of you. And he's wearing leggings, or something like that.
Black leggings under the blue trunks of Mike Mollo.
Mollo has only 1 win in his last 4 fights. So obviously, Szpilka's people were thinking about picking the right opponent in front of this home crowd so they could get a win. So we'll see whether or not they were right about that decision.
Szpilka's last fight was that victory against Jamil McCline last June, 10-round decision against the former contender. And Mollo lands a left hand that time as Szpilka was off balance.
Szpilka doesn't look as tough as he looked when he was in that orange jumpsuit, does he?
So Mollo scores the knockdown here in round 1.
Again, Mollo, nothing fancy. His people picked him. Szpilka's people picked him, thinking he had nothing fancy. He's just a tough guy. But sometimes being just a tough guy might be enough. By the referee.
Yeah, a bad cut that opened up in not watching his head, right around the left eye of Mollo.
I don't know why he's cursing at Mollo. Mollo's the one who got the worst of it, as you just said, cut very badly over his left eye. Maybe that's going to be exactly what Szpilka needs to get confidence and maybe to get a win.
Stop. Watch your forearm. Watch your forearm. Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Still can't believe the way the referee cursed at Mollo with the headbutt. I mean, again, Mollo, yeah, there was a headbutt, a clear headbutt. Mollo got the worst of it, a cut over his left eye.
Hey, headbutt. Hey, that's a headbutt. That headbutt.
Nothing fancy there. Mollo on the inside, good body shot there, scoring a knockdown. Again, you see the short, stocky Mollo trying to impose himself and trying to put a left hand. It does put a left hand to the body of Szpilka, getting the knockdown and getting a 10-8 round.
Coming through.
Clash of heads.
Let's go.
Opening up that cut around the left eye of Mike Mollo. because trying to place that straight left hand, the undefeated Pole. There's a good snapping jab. And he catches him with that left hand that time.
Well, that's what Szpilka should do. Control that range, control that distance, get full extension on his punches, and try to allow Mollo to help him. What I mean by that, a warning for being clean by the referee there, that he doesn't seem to like Mollo too much. Cursed at him in the first round, but I think what Szpilka's looking to do now, keep a little range and let Mollo, let his crudeness show a little bit. Like I said earlier, let Mollo help him a little bit by leaving himself wide open and walking into a shot. Szpilka's trying to, he's taller, he's longer, he's bigger, trying to control that range.
Don't punch. Step back.
With that southpaw stance.
Let's go back.
Trying to let Mollo make a mistake, reach in a little bit, and plug the hole.
Cut is really bad around that left brow of Mollo. Need 4 rounds complete.
Well, this is where you need a good cut man. The cut man, Robinson, Elo in Mike Mollo's corner. Robinson, Ayalo needs to be good at his trade right now.
Oh, Mollo once again able to find something because of some of these moments of defensive flaws by Szpilka as he falls in.
I'll tell you what his defensive flaw. He paused with the jab. That southpaw jab. He's just looking really for a big left hand or maybe a sneaky right hook. But for the most part, Szpilka's looking for that left hand as he misses with the big left uppercut. Not really using a jab, Szpilka, and therefore not keeping Mollo off him. Now Mollo cut over the right eye. He's cut over both eyes right now, Mollo, as Joe reaches for some paper towels. And the corner man, the cut man of Mollo, better be reaching for anticoagulants. For the medication to put in that cut.
I mean, look at the face of Mollo right now.
Elbow. Mollo telling the referee that was an elbow.
Edwin Mershid and Nick Rizzo are ringside physicians. Now, we don't have confirmation from the commission yet as to the other cut and how the other cut was caused. We know the left eye was caused by a clash. Gonna let him go just a little more, he says. The right eye now just as much of a concern. A bloodbath truly here in round 2 as Mollo knows he has desperate measures needed. Oh, fighting after the bell.
Well, that's desperate. That's a desperate measure.
And he says, I didn't hear it.
This is the scene live here at U.S. Cellular Field as Artur Szpilka is getting ready for his rematch against Mike Mollo, and we're enjoying a replay of the first fight. We caught up with Artur Szpilka and asked him what he thought of his opponent.
I like him, but when we be fight, I knock him out. I know it.
The rematch set to come as we bring it back to February 1st, 2013, round number 3.
This is round 1, the first clash of heads that opens up the left eye. And then the elbow in round 2. The commission is confirming that the left eye, the right eye was caused by an elbow. So that means that we would need 4 rounds complete to go to the scorecards.
Come here. Hey.
To get a technical decision.
We're gonna keep it clean. Next time I'm disqualifying you. That's it. Box.
Heard what the referee Ruiz had to say. We're gonna try to keep it clean. Good luck with these two.
Again, you see the strategy. Maybe you see the personality too. What's really inside Szpilka. He wants to stay on the outside, doesn't want to take a lot of chances. He's pouring with that jab, snaps it once in a while, pushes it once in a while, looking for a spot for the left hand or the right hook. And you see a little bit of that European flavor, the European style of Szpilka. Yeah, he keeps that right hand circling a little bit, that lead right hand. You see a lot of the European fighters that had a lot of amateur fights, they do that. Just circle with that right hand or that lead hand. They try to mesmerize you a little bit with it, and then they try to nail you with something. Szpilka's trying to catch Mollo either standing in front of or rushing forward.
Went to the body with a straight left that time.
Mollo having trouble seeing. That cut man has not stopped the blood. Not stopped the bleeding.
The right eye now, it is opened up where it's just streaming down the entire side of his face. That was from the elbow. Catches him with two left hands that time. The undefeated Polish fighter with a huge crowd of supporters here in Chicago.
Again, the undefeated Polish fighter likes to keep range, likes to keep distance.
Get over, get over.
And now the doctor's going to be brought in again by the ref.
Here we are, final minute of round 3. Let's listen in. They need 4 completed rounds. Now this is a different ringside position than the one who first looked at it.
Oh, you wonder why.
Rizzo first looked at it, now Merchant.
That's interesting. Usually the same doctor stays with it.
Look out, look out. Look, stay right there.
But the same answer from a different doctor. Let him go.
Time in. Box.
It can look gruesome. That's not what they're looking at, is how much blood. They're looking at what kind of damage potentially is done, and is the vision affected? And is there permanent damage that could be done here, affecting the health and welfare of the fighter beyond the competition of the sport?
And again, Szpilka right now choosing the right style, the right approach. Keeping distance with the shorter man, a crude man, a tough man, but a man who takes a lot of punishment coming straight in. So Szpilka wants that distance
Watch that elbow.
to catch him on the way in.
Combination there to close out this round.
Huge crowd gathered here at U.S. Cellular Field on a wonderful summer night. Chicago loves their fights, and they've got a good night of local fighters in action. They also agree with how Artur feels about our color commentator as we bring you back to February 1st. Szpilka, Mollo 1, round number 4.
And again,
Box.
we're looking at the job that the cut man is doing in the corner. A tough job, cuts over both eyes, but still, the cut man's job is to stop that bleeding. And what do you have to do to stop that bleeding? Well, you got to clean it up real quick, put pressure on it, stem the bleeding with the pressure,
Don't leave it out
and
there.
then get the medications, get the medicines, the coagulants, or the anticoagulants into that cut.
Now what's interesting here, and we just saw Teddy's scorecard, is that Mollo scored a knockdown in the first round. So as much as Szpilka has come on with this offensive pursuit in rounds 2 and 3, and as bloodied as Mollo is, you know, if we get a technical decision here, here's your round that's going to decide it because of the 10-8 first round.
And if you wondered who's going to win the round, well, it's been going downhill for Mollo a little bit since that first round when he scored a knockdown. Mollo came in here the heaviest weight in over 12 and a half years. So you wonder about the conditioning of Mollo. And Mollo, well, his weight has fluctuated his entire career, Joe, from 201 pounds to 232 pounds. You can actually say that Mollo could have been a cruiserweight. So a lot of advantages for Szpilka. Gas tank running a little low on Mollo. Plenty of heart, but also pretty hard to see right now for Mollo. Again, that blood streaming right away as soon as he took some punches, and they're gonna. Now the referee is once again gonna go visit the doctor.
But they need these last 59 seconds to get a technical decision.
Oh, wow. That's what you don't want if you're the doctor. You don't want the guy bleeding all over the place, shaking his head. Because that blood will spray right into the doctor's face. I don't think doctors want blood sprayed in their face.
And nor do ringside broadcasters.
Oh, he caught him! There it is! Wow! Just when he needed it badly.
Once again, it's not over, but a lesson. Just coming in with a jumpsuit and a mask on doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the fight. Doesn't mean you're going to scare your opponent. Mollo is very crude, but he's not scared.
Doctor was about to stop the fight a couple times. Mollo knows how desperate this is, and he went after him and caught him. Last 20 seconds of the fourth round.
And he caught him the only way he could catch him. With a hook, with a wide punch, with a crude punch, as Szpilka pulls back with his hands down. Szpilka has a bad form with those low hands of pulling back. If you step with him, you can catch him. And he stepped, and he caught him again.
Another big shot! Mike Mollo! Can you believe the last minute of that fourth round?
Well, if you're a fan of Mollo's, you gotta love him. And you gotta wish he had a better cut man right now, too. Because he deserves one. Because he deserves a chance to finish what he's taken so much punishment to start. There's the left hook landed I talked about. He stepped with Szpilka. Szpilka went back with his hands low, his chin exposed. You step with him with the left hook, it's gonna land. Mollo stepped with him with that left hook. It landed. And now Szpilka, well, he's wondering right now who the intimidated one was. He came in here with that mask, that yellow jumpsuit, thinking that mentally he's going to intimidate Mollo a little bit. Well, he better have another trick up his sleeve because that one didn't work.
Undefeated, 12-0, but in trouble against a bloody but tough Mike Mollo. And now he's got him bent over and he's going to the body.
Well, now it's pretty simple. Szpilka needs to stay off the ropes. Mollo likes to be in close.
Slip. Get over. Come here.
What's going on here?
Come here. Take a point.
Point deduction.
Take a point.
Why?
For pushing him down.
Take a
Oh, this is terrible.
There was no warning
this
prior.
referee has not liked him from the beginning when he used an F-bomb in the first round, which I never heard a referee do before. He used an F-bomb on him in the first round. He didn't like him. And right now, it's looking like he's got something against him.
And keep in mind, Mollo has two 10-8 rounds in the bag.
I still can't believe that referee just took a point away like that. It was a terrific fight. It's a bloody fight. It's sloppy in spots. You know, it's not a technical masterpiece. It's not a Mona Lisa. You know, it's more like a little graffiti and finger painting, but it's fun to watch. And the referee taking that point away from a game guy like that, when he's worked his way back into this fight, it bothers you.
Celestino Ruiz is a referee here.
Now, Mollo bleeding like he is. He's got to win this round just to get an even round. He's got a chance to score a knockdown anytime he steps with Szpilka. Szpilka's got that chin up, the hands low. If Mollo steps with him, he can find him. Look at Mollo not only bleeding, Joe. Look at the way he's breathing. He came in the heaviest weight in over 12 and a half years. He's tired, but he's acting like a fighter. He's pushing, pushing, pushing. Again, Szpilka wants to keep distance, wants to try to catch Mollo before he gets close. But that time Mollo got close.
Remember, Mollo hadn't fought since August of 2010.
So Szpilka has the advantage on the outside. If he punches on the outside and extends those hands, he's got the advantage. Mollo's only got the advantage when he gets here, inside.
Absolutely wild fight here between these heavyweights in Chicago.
The Polish fans have packed U.S. Cellular Field here on this beautiful summer night, all the way up there in the upper deck, looking down towards home plate. Moments away from the rematch of Szpilka-Mollo. Bernardo Osuna is standing by in the locker room of Mike Mollo.
Leading up to their first fight, Mike Mollo had several health issues. On Thanksgiving, he broke a toe and he couldn't do his conditioning work the way he wanted to. A week before the fight, he broke his right hand. Nonetheless, he took the fight and was able to put Szpilka on the canvas on 2 occasions before the fight came to a bloody end. Since then, he's had only one thing on his mind, and that's revenge.
This guy has just been like in my brain, like to put him on his back is in the forefront of I can't see past it. I'm gonna hurt this kid, so that's all I've been thinking about.
Actually, he's been thinking about hurting him, but also avoiding the punches, learning how to fight against the southpaw against Cuban southpaw heavyweight Luis Ortiz in the 5th Street Gym in Miami.
Thank you, Bernardo. The veteran local Chicago favorite, a slugging heavyweight for 13 years, getting ready for action in just moments here from U.S. Cellular Field as we head back to February 1st and what would be the final round of their first go-round, Szpilka-Mollo.
That's a point deduction,
That's terrible. This referee should be looked at. The commission should look at this tape and ask the referee, why'd you do that? First of all, Szpilka's leaning forward. And what does Mollo do? He leans on him. And Szpilka voluntarily goes down. So a point is taken away at that crucial time in the fight? I don't get it. I wonder about it. I'd like the commission to grab this ref and ask him about it.
Well, and to your point, how about the fact that the night started with the referee, upon giving Mollo a warning, swearing at him?
Exactly. I like the commission to pull him into the office and ask the referee about that too.
Let's go.
Why are you getting personal here? Why are you not acting like a professional? We want the fighters to behave like pros. Well, the enforcers, the administrators, in this case the referee, should behave like a pro.
3 rounds to go. Mollo clips him with a left hand and then falls to a knee as they once again had the 60 seconds to work on those 2 cuts. It's been the one around the right eye that opened up with an elbow in the 2nd round. Both were accidental. First was a clash of heads that opened up the left eye, then an elbow in the 2nd round to the right eye. The right eye's been giving him fits. Remember, Facebook voting is still open. Friday Night Fights page. 3 rounds to 2 for Mollo, but keep in mind 2 of those 10-8 rounds, and 1, the 5th, a -1 on the foul. Can the Polish fighter stay unbeaten? Szpilka came here 12-0 to Chicago with an ethnically charged fan base supporting him. Mollo came out wearing a Walter Payton jersey and an American flag, fighting in his own hometown with over half the crowd rooting against him.
punishment for Mollo takes place on his way in. He's truly trying to get through a bad neighborhood without getting hit with anything, going through that bad neighborhood without getting mugged. And right now he's getting mugged a little bit, trying to get through the bad neighborhood, but I think the sheer heart of Mollo, he's got hardly anything left. His gas tank is on empty. You can hardly see through his eyes. But the sheer toughness, determination is wearing Szpilka a little bit. You can see physically, Szpilka has more left. But mentally, I don't think so. As far as toughness, I don't think so.
No question there.
Stop, get back.
Sometimes it has everything to do what's inside of a man. How big the fight is inside of a man.
Oh, he covered up and paid the price. He went down like a redwood.
You never saw that shot.
It's over.
Joey blinded himself. He covered up. There was a blinding jab, and then a left hand right behind it that he never saw. All the heart in the world is not going to stop that.
And yet still determined to rise to his feet.
Get the stall.
As the medical staff is demanding to get the stool to him right away.
The referee and the corner man are almost getting into a fight right here. The corner man for Mollo is having words with the referee.
KO victory, one thunderous shot from Artur Szpilka.
Now watch again. Blinds him with the jab. You said it right. Mollo decides to cover up, and that was his undoing. Because when he covered up, he didn't move his head. The right jab blinded him. The left hand finished him. Watch it again. The jab blinds him. He doesn't see anything. His gloves are there. Now the left hand comes through. Never sees it. Can't register it. And therefore, he can't stand up.
Hashtag SC Top 10 for the undefeated Artur Szpilka.
Watch again. He covers up. The jab blinds him. And the left hand finds him.
What a wildly entertaining fight here in Chicago.
Whenever there was separation or distance, there was danger. There was separation, there was distance. He was blinded, and the knockout happened. Mollo needed to be close, not on the outside, with the physically superior and longer Szpilka.
Here's Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 45 seconds of round number 6. Your winner by way of knockout and still undefeated from Warsaw, Poland, Artur "The Pin" Szpilka.
Szpilka now 13-0.
So that was then, and this is now, as the fans anticipate the entrance of Artur Szpilka to U.S. Cellular Field. The rematch is next. A beautiful night in downtown Chicago as we are on the south side for Friday night fights outdoors at U.S. Cellular Field. Home plate with a boxing ring from the first base to third base, lower bowl all the way up to the top tier. They have packed him in for the rematch. What do you possibly do for an encore? In the case of Mike Mollo, he says fight a little smarter. Artur Szpilka says use my legs, my quickness, concentrate more on defense. But in the end, they both say they're out to destroy the other. Can they finish off what they started? For the official introductions, we send it up to the ring to Thomas Schreiber.
Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He's wearing white trunks with black trim and weighed in at 233 pounds. Hailing from right here, the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. His professional record, 20 wins, 4 defeats, one draw with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the monster of the Midway, Merciless Mike Mollo. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He's wearing gold trunks with white trim and weighed in at 226 pounds. Coming to us from Warsaw, Poland, he is undefeated with 15 wins, and 11 of his 15 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Artur, the Pin Szpilka.
Time to see what the fighters need to do to look like a champ. Brought to you by Just for Men.
Let's start with the undefeated fighter, Szpilka. He comes straight in with wide shots, he being Mollo. So throw straight lefts down the middle as he comes. And for Mollo, when he steps back, step with him with a left hook.
Gerald Scott's the referee, scheduled for 10.
Take yourself at all times. Comes to good here. This is good right here. Good luck.
As of 90 minutes ago, Gerald Scott was not going to be the referee. When Mike Mollo showed up today, he saw the bout sheet. He realized Celestino Ruiz was set to be the referee. That's who officiated the February 1st first fight between these two. Mollo went absolutely crazy over that, demanded the change. Scott gets the call, Teddy.
Well, it was a good call to do that because there's no doubt in my mind, I'm sure no doubt in the fans' mind after watching the first fight, that the referee had a bias for whatever reason against Mollo. That bias has been removed. Let's fight, fellas.
You got a jab. You got a double.
Look, at least Mollo looks physically better. I don't know if he is, but somebody told me that he spent 4 weeks in Miami with Dino Spencer, and he lost 22 pounds in a month. I don't know if it's good to lose 22 pounds in a month. I'll be honest with you, but he does look physically better. We'll see whether or not that translates into a better fight and better result for him. Having said that, he comes in the heaviest of his career, 2 pounds heavier than his last fight. But that doesn't mean he's not better shape, doesn't mean that the muscles are in better form and better condition. We're gonna find out. But I'll tell you one thing that it also doesn't mean. It doesn't mean he was taught how to fight any better. No matter how good in shape you are, you have to be good defensively. In the case of Mollo, you gotta move your head. And I don't know if anyone's taught him how to do that yet. We're gonna find out.
He talked a lot about fighting smarter, of using more technique, but in the end, at 33 years old and this deep into your pro career, you are what you are, Teddy.
Yes, you are. People born round, Joe, they don't die square.
Oh, he came charging in that time, did land a short left hand. Szpilka's reaction was to tie up and go all the way across the ring. By the way, Teddy, a very small configuration inside the ropes tonight. Walked off somewhere short of 18 feet.
Good for the fans, good for us, and maybe good for Mollo. He doesn't move anywhere, he just comes forward. He wants a phone booth. He's got his small ring. I would think he's happy. You wonder whether or not his eyes are completely healed. Let's not forget, he was cut badly over both eyes in his last
got
fight.
staggered by a right hand from the southpaw heavyweight.
According to Mollo, it took 45 stitches to close up those cuts that he incurred in their first fight 6.5 months ago. I wonder if they're completely healed.
Sweeping left hand from Szpilka moments ago. Remember, Szpilka's had a couple fights since the Mollo fight. Went over to Poland, had a second-round TKO, and then a 10-round decision against the veteran from Butler, PA, Brian Minto.
Big advantage, what you just talked about. Szpilka having those 2 fights, both wins, more confidence, chance to work out some of the flaws, and there were plenty of them in their first fight. Mollo didn't have that opportunity to work those flaws out and get confidence back before he gets back in the ring.
Pressure-packed setting here. Szpilka, Mollo 2, end of round number 1. Corona Extra Extra, a proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always, encourages you to relax responsibly. Well, time lapse from Thursday at 6 p.m. on as they got U.S. Cellular set for Friday Night Fights. Last place White Sox on the road at Minnesota tonight, but they have packed from first base to third base and all the way up to the upper deck for this night. That'll be capped by Campillo and Fonfara in a good IBF title eliminator among light heavyweights, and starts with a much anticipated heavyweight rematch we have right here. Round number 2 scheduled for 10.
You know, I talked about Mollo came in the heaviest of his career, 2 pounds more than the last time these two got in the ring. Szpilka, well, he came in lighter. He's now 226 pounds. He's 4 pounds less than the first time they got in the ring. You would think that, again, that's in the advantage of Szpilka. But the most important thing, we're talking about conditioning, talking about weight. Most important thing, do you know how to fight? Do you know how to get away from punches? That is something that has to be taught. That's more important than just pure conditioning. We'll find out if Mollo has learned anything.
Mollo with the right hand splitting the guard and then sent a left hand to the body. Szpilka had success halfway through that first round. There's another sweeping left hand, but he caught him a little fat and open.
Well, if you time Szpilka and catch him, you can catch him clean because those hands are not disciplined. They're down quite often. He does not cover after he punches, does not cover when he steps out. I'm in Mollo's corner, I'm telling him, look, get in good position, maybe you crouch a little bit and come in with a leaping left hook, forcing Szpilka back and nailing him as he goes back. Where's Floyd Patterson when you need him? Floyd Patterson used to throw a beautiful leaping left hook when opponents would step back. He knocked out Igor Hansen in the rematch to become the first heavyweight champ to retain the title after losing the title.
Mollo goes to the body. Szpilka trying to land a left hand in between punches there before they separate.
You don't need me to tell you, Mollo wants to be close. Short arms, crude, rough around the edges, not polished. He wants to be close in the trenches where he can make it a down and dirty fight.
4-inch height differential here. Mollo 6'1", Szpilka 6'5". There's a left hand on the inside.
Opportunities for both guys there, Joe. Opportunities for Mollo to catch Szpilka as he drops his hands to throw. And opportunities for Szpilka to catch Mollo as he walks in.
Szpilka tried to time that left hand that time as Mollo took that step forward.
Step forward. That's the key word, Joe. That's what Mollo does all night long. To his advantage and to his detriment. He's always taking a step forward, right down the middle, where you can predict where he's going to be.
Good shots to the head by the pole.
He's hurt. He's hurt. We talked about it in the setup and looked like a champion. That straight left hand would be the thing to worry about if you're Mollo. Right at the bell, straight right hand, nothing fancy. Right down the middle, it staggered Mollo. He's lucky it was at the end of the round, and he's lucky for one other thing, Joe. There was only one thing missing from that equation that was there the first time they met. There was no jab to blind him for the left hand. It was just a left hand. He was able to handle it a little bit.
First go around the southpaw, put that right paw out there, and then came with the left hand. Remember, he finished him off in round number 6. This is round number 3. Of course, that was back and forth. Mollo had success in the 4th round, scoring a knockdown.
See, if I'm in the corner now of Szpilka, I'm telling him, look, you just hurt him at the bell. Hurt him badly. If there was more time left, you might have knocked him out. But you hurt him with a straight left hand. That left hand's going to be there again, right down the pipe. But this time, do what you did the first time. Put the jab first, and then the blind left hand.
This time, he tags him with a headshot.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't know.
50 seconds of the round.
I don't know if Mollo's in better shape, but he's not a better fighter. I know that much. He's still got a heart, but he still doesn't know how to fight in areas that you need to know how to fight.
A series of left hands early on here in round number 3 has Mollo in trouble. He returns fire and scores a knockdown.
he knows how to throw back, and he's got plenty of heart.
As if the Hollywood script these guys have been writing since February couldn't get any more wacky.
Well, we were saying that Szpilka, he leaves himself open, drops his hands, pulls straight back, and when he throws something, especially an uppercut, he drops the hand and exposes himself. In other words, he gives up defense to create offense, and Mollo was able to score.
Mollo was desperate, in trouble, and all of a sudden with one punch turns it around.
Mollo allowing Szpilka to recover though. And that's not good. Because even though you scored a knockdown, you're still the underdog. The other guy's still a little bit better fighter than you. You still got a big hill to climb. And you should have maybe scampered up that hill a little bit when you had him hurt.
Break. Give me a break. Stop back. No punch. No punch. No punch.
I don't know about the conditioning of Mollo. He's breathing very heavy right now. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he didn't open up more when he hurt Szpilka this round.
There was an uppercut and right hook combination, and now Mollo on the inside driving his head into Szpilka's face.
So that uppercut is there for Szpilka as Mollo comes in, leaning forward. But it's a catch-22 for Szpilka. He drops the left hand to throw the uppercut, and you can beat him to the match or beat him to the punch with the right hand.
An outrageous third round that saw both men on wobbly legs. Mollo's the one that scored the knockdown, yet he was hurt, and look how the round finishes with Szpilka sprawled across to the neutral corner.
Jabbing up and down and get over there. Don't stand in front of him anymore. What about the plan? What's the plan? Go to the left. Go to the left.
Take a look at the knockdown coming up here. You can see Mollo's in trouble. He's on the ropes. Take a look here. Left hook. Catches Mollo. Little delay there. Little delayed knockdown. Take another look. There's the left hook. You see why. Szpilka's throwing a wide punch with the left hand, looking to load up, figuring he's having his way. His right hand is down, and Mollo lands that left hook. Little delay there, but Szpilka goes down.
Round 4.
You know what hurt Szpilka there was the first 2 rounds, Joe. I don't care if this sounds crazy, but it's accurate. He had his way. He figured, I'm just going to keep landing the left hand. So he got a little cocky, a little careless. He loaded up with the left hand, didn't have his right hand up. Szpilka has bad fundamental habits, just like Mollo. He is not as polished as he looks. And when he was throwing it, looking to load up, he forgot about incoming. He took for granted that Mollo was on his way out the door.
Remember, you can go to the Friday Night Fight Facebook page and score along in this rock'em sock'em heavyweight fight and do so all night long. First 2 rounds went to Szpilka, no doubt about it. Last round 10-8 with a knockdown score to Mike Mollo.
I'm going to tell you something interesting. There's a lot of interesting things about this fight because it's brutal and it's at the same time it's fun to watch. And you never know when the favorite can suddenly be on his backside. But on first blush, you look at Szpilka, Joe, and he looks much better than Mollo. You know, physically, technically, he has the look. He sets up like he knows more, much more polished until the fighting starts. Then the shine comes off of him quite a bit, and you start saying to yourself, you know what? Szpilka is not as good as he looks.
I think Mollo would agree, Teddy. That time he tried to catch him coming in again as Mollo consistently takes those short steps to get himself to the inside and do his damage.
Kind of like when you go to a car lot, Joe. You go to a car lot and you see the car, and you know, these car salesmen, you can't trust them all. And they got the car all polished up, all waxed up, and it looks great. You get in it, you pay for it, you start driving out of the lot, and the engine falls out. Transmission falls out.
Now, Szpilka has lost that new car smell, even though he's 15-0 and 11 knockouts. Had his jaw broken in a win against McCline. Had the bloodbath and surviving the knockdowns in the February 1st first fight against Mollo. And now tonight he's been on the canvas in the last round.
Mollo needs to be taught better fundamentals.
Keep him up.
But it's probably too late for that. And Szpilka, I don't know if it's too late, but he needs to be taught better fundamentals too. Right now, all he needs to do, though, is really establish the jab, don't push with the jab, snap it out, keep Mollo behind him. And then make Mollo pay to get in. In other words, kind of be like a real estate agent. Charge him for that real estate. Charge him 3 punches for every square foot that Mollo tries to advance on you.
Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas with you ringside at U.S. Cellular Field here in Chicago. At the end of the last round, Artur Szpilka landed a punch, and it opened up a cut on the right eye of Mike Mollo. Remember, Mollo dealt with bad cuts in their first fight. Said he was bloodied and battered, and that's what affected him when he went down in the 6th round to finish things off. He's the one that has scored the lone knockdown so far tonight. It happened in round number 3. Round 5 scheduled for 10.
Well, I said it in the first fight. Mollo needed a good cut man. I'll say it again. Hopefully Mollo has a good cut man. Jim Strickland is that man. Mollo said he needed 45 stitches to close the cuts the last time these two got it on. He's gonna need some more after this night's over with.
CompuBox is tallying things tonight for us in this heavyweight rematch. 107 power punches thrown by Szpilka, 93 thrown by Mollo. Szpilka with an advantage of 26 connects, landing 53% of his power punches. Best power punch of the night, though, was the left hook by Mollo in round number 3 that scored the knockdown.
Only 1 minute into this round, and already the right eye is leaking of Mollo. Although he doesn't...
A massive left hand that buckles Mollo, sends him to the canvas with his leg back. Can he beat the count?
Even if he does, a lot of time left and the referee stops it. I don't know if Mollo's in better shape or not, but I know he didn't improve from the last time. Still too easy to hit, but plenty of heart.
Tremendous ending to a thriller here at U.S. Cellular Field. So many classic home runs knocked out of this park through the years, and Artur Szpilka just connected on one of his own. KO victory for the unbeaten Pole. And what a nice sign of respect and showing here for these fans as these proud warriors embrace Mollo, the local Chicago fighter. Szpilka with so many Polish fans supporting him here in this city. And just like the first one, Szpilka was down but wasn't out, and he finished it off with a KO victory. Teddy, take us through it.
Very simple. The right hand distracted him. The left hand, not straight, a little to the side, was aimed the right way. A little to the side again. Mollo, like the first time when he got knocked out, their first time they went in the ring, never saw that punch. Let's take another look. I want to see it one more time. He redirects the left hand. He doesn't throw it completely straight. Little tiny bit of a roundhouse to get it to the right spot. And once again, Mollo blinded himself with his glove. Watch, his glove is going to be up. He's not going to see that left hand. The glove is blinding him a little bit. And I give credit to Szpilka. He aimed that left hand a little bit to the side where Mollo could not see it. The right jab before that distracted him a little bit. Watch, a little throwaway jab just to distract him, get his eyes on the other side, and then the left hand. Watch, see how the glove is blinding him? Mollo blinded himself, and Szpilka took advantage and said, thank you for blinding yourself. I will knock you out now.
That is a hashtag SC Top 10 as a play of the day. Impact, blood splatter, knockout, thriller in front of thousands here at U.S. Cellular Field. For the official particulars, let's send it up to the ring to Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 1 minute 41 seconds of round number 5. Our referee in charge, Gerald Scott, stops the contest. Your winner by way of technical knockout and still undefeated, Artur, the Pin Szpilka.
He doesn't make it look so pretty, but boy, oh boy, is he fun to watch. Artur Szpilka, 16-0, 12 knockouts, and yet another thriller against Mike Mollo. The rematch, it delivered. Much more Friday night fights to come outdoors in Chicago, including Nigel Collins, our essayist on the history of this proud town.
Welcome back to Friday Night Fights. We are in Chicago, Illinois. It couldn't be any more beautiful for our first ever broadcast from our Major League Stadium. And how about that for an opening bout? Szpilka and Mollo, two absolutely delivered, and the fans here showing their approval, about 10,000 on hand. Let me tell you something. I've been around the world. I've literally covered thousands of events live. This atmosphere is as electric as it gets. I don't know how it's coming across on your television in your living room, but it is truly second to none. Now, normally when you think about Chicago sports, you probably think about the Cubs, the White Sox, the Bears, the Blackhawks, but there was a time when the second city was second to none when it comes to the sweet science. Nigel Collins explains.
Practically from the start, Chicago was a boxing city. The sport took root in the gritty working class neighborhoods and had already established a foothold by the time Mrs. O'Leary's cow had allegedly kicked over a lantern that sparked the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. There was a firestorm of a different kind in 1900 when Terry McGovern and Joe Gans, arguably the two best fighters of the era, engaged in a bout known as the Big Fix. Gans took a dive, and the scandal caused such a stink professional boxing was outlawed in Illinois for 25 years. But when a law legalizing the sport passed in 1925, boxing returned in a big way. And within a few years, Chicago became one of the busiest boxing cities in the country, second only to New York. On July 3rd, 1926, in the very first bout under the new law, Sammy Mandel from nearby Rockford, Illinois, beat Rocky Kansas at Comiskey Park to win the lightweight championship. Comiskey Park, home of the Chicago White Sox for 81 years, became the venue of choice for numerous major fights. A crowd of 45,722 fans packed the venue in 1937 to watch Joe Louis take the crown away from Cinderella Man James Braddock with an 8th-round knockout. When Louis retired in 1949, Ezra Charles decisioned Jersey Joe Walkout from Comiskey Park to win the vacant title. 14 years later, Sonny Liston dispatched Floyd Patterson in the opening round in the final heavyweight title fight staged at the ballpark. The most famous fight held in Chicago was the rematch between heavyweight champion Gene Tunney and Jack Dempsey in 1927. The fight attracted a crowd of more than 100,000 to Soldier Field to witness Tunney retain the title in the Battle of the Long Count. By the 1930s, the golden age of Chicago boxing was underway. It was an era that saw virtually all top boxers fight in the Windy City. Chicago was the site of Rocky Graziano's come-from-behind KO of middleweight champ Tony Zale, and where Sugar Ray Robinson took the middleweight title away from Jake LaMotta in a fight known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. All told, Robinson had 13 fights in Chicago, including his victory over Carmen Basilio to regain the middleweight title in 1958's Fight of the Year. Chicago boxing is currently making a comeback, thanks to regular promotions at the UIC Pavilion and the emergence of new fan favorites such as Andres Fonfara. And while Chicago boxing still has a long way to go before regaining its former glory, one staple of the past has returned: ballpark boxing. It's only fitting that the rebirth take place at U.S. Cellular Field, the new home of the White Sox, which is located right across the street from where Comiskey Park once stood.
Well, I can tell you the Chicago White Sox will not win a World Series this year, but there may be a champion on display here later tonight. Gabriel Fonfara taking on, Andres Fonfara rather, taking on Gabriel Campillo. The winner of that match is guaranteed a title shot for the light heavyweight championship of the world. That is our main event. As for next week, it's our final fight card of the year, and it should be a good one. We've got a title fight for the main event. Arash Usmani, 20-1, his lone loss coming here on Friday Night Fights in a very disputed decision, takes on Argenis Mendez for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. We're coming to you live from Verona, New York. Now it's time to look like a champ, presented by Just for Men. Arash Usmani gets his first crack at the 130-pound title when he faces off against Argenis Mendez. Mendez was 4 years younger than the challenger, successfully defended his title back in March. He knocked out Juan Carlos Salgado in the 4th round. Usmani is coming off a controversial unanimous decision loss to Rancis Barthelemy. All right, coming up next, a bout from the junior welterweight division. Chicago's very own Adrian Granados in action next.
ESPN Friday Night Fights presented by Corona Extras, brought to you by Just for Men Auto Stop, the foolproof way to get rid of gray. They're getting their fresh beverages between fights here up on the concourse of U.S. Cellular Field. There's Carlton Fisk, number 72. Well, we had some heavyweights who were catchers in that first fight tonight. Szpilka and Mollo catching some leather indeed. Both men were down and finished with Szpilka with a 5th round knockout win. We'll see if that action keeps pace here tonight as we move on to 8 rounds of junior welterweights. Mark Salser taking on Adrian Granados. Salser's a 30-year-old from Mansfield, Ohio. He's 5'7", 138 pounds, a record of 15-0 with 9 knockouts, but that's spread out over some years of inactivity. He began his career 9-0, 6-0 since, first bout in 11 months, as he was all over the place since turning pro in 2007 with scattered fights, and he hasn't fought since August 18th of 2012. Granados is a Chicago-based prospect at 140 pounds, a 24-year-old, 6 years younger than Salser, 5'9", so he's 2 inches taller, a record of 9-1-2, kind of guy that just struggles to catch a break. Had a draw against Leonardo Tyner back in 2011, then a loss in 2011, majority decision loss, and then a disputed draw in his hometown against Kermit Cintron, the former world titleist.
Receive your inspection in the dressing room. I expect you to obey my command. First of all, protect yourself at all times. Just touch up and get cracking at the belt.
Celestino Ruiz is the referee, and they're scheduled for 8.
Even though Salsa's the undefeated fighter, I'm going to give the edge, maybe, it's going to be interesting to find out if I'm right, to Granados. Because Salsa, well, one warning sign that might be a warning sign is that he won a majority decision over a 1-5 opponent. He's been in with a lot of easy competition, Salsa. Granados really should be undefeated. You just touched on it, Joe. I mean, his last fight, Well, I shouldn't say he should be undefeated, but has a chance where he could have been undefeated because Granado's only loss was a close one, a majority decision, but he definitely should have an extra win on his record. He was robbed the last time he was in the ring 5 months ago when they gave him a draw against the former champion and diminished Kermit Cintron.
How does the hometown fighter get robbed? We were doing that fight downtown Chicago. It's not how the sport is supposed to work, and Granados comes on the short end of it.
Yeah, you're right. You know, that's a good point. I mean, Granados should have a lot of confidence off of his last fight because he knows he won the fight against a former champion. But as you said, to your point, he must feel like a stranger, or at least maybe a stepchild in his own hometown, the way he was treated by the judges in that last fight.
Step back, don't punch, don't punch, don't punch, get back.
Still catching my breath, Teddy, after that Szpilka Mollo rematch there.
Granados 6 years younger. Yeah, I've caught my breath already. But you're right. Granados 6 years younger. He's 6 pounds less than his last fight. He knows what's at stake here.
Good combination work on the inside from Granados.
Talked about Granados only lost majority decision. Salsa has 2 close wins, a majority and a split decision win. Well, you can see early on that why I gave the edge in this fight to Granados. We'll see if it stays that way, but he's the boxer. He can do more things. So far, Salsa only walks forward and not behind the jab and not moving his head, and Granados is having his way.
That's good sharpshooting with that right hand.
He's picking spots. You know, he's using his legs, Joe, Granados in the silver, to set up those spots and to keep Salsa, really make him keep his hands in his pocket for the most part.
Well, I'll tell you, I think Granados is off to a great start here. Just sharp shooting, putting combinations together. Looking really, really good here against 15-0 Mark Salsa as we are working our way towards our main event. Gabriel Campillo, the former WBA light heavyweight champion, taking on Andrew Fonfara in our main event, what'll be a title eliminator according to the IBF. Fonfara is a guy who fights out of Chicago here, Polish fighter, so you know he'll have a lot of support. How do you see this main event, Teddy?
Well, you know, I'm excited about it because the history, I mean, right across the street was the old Comiskey Park where there was great history made by so many great fighters. And we're starting our own new history here, you know, in this great fight town. And it's nice. I'm wondering if we're going to get a few pokes from above from the ghosts up there because they got a heck of a stable up there from all the great fighters that were here. And the fighter tonight, the local kid Fonfara, he's going to find out whether or not he can take a step closer to a world title against a guy that used to have something that he wants, a world title, Campillo. I think what it really comes down to is what does Campillo have left? How much juice, how much electricity, how much current is still running through the 34-year-old former world champion? I'm going to guess, even though he's lost 2 of his last 3, Campillo, and he was knocked out 2 fights ago, that was against a higher level than Fonfara, at least for my money.
That was against Kovalev.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that there's juice left with Campillo, and I'm going to say he's going to have a chance to upset Fonfara. Or Fonfara's going to have a chance, as I said, to show that he deserves a chance for a world title.
So
should be interesting.
That's the main event for the #1 ranking in the IBF at 175 pounds. Campillo against Fonfara coming up after Granados and Salsa. Chicago-based Adrian Granados off to a strong start here, round number 2 scheduled for 8.
Come on, Mark. Rest, rest. Make sure you keep that right hand up inside the pocket.
Let's check in with Bernardo Osuna.
Mollo a few minutes ago, and he's lucid, he's okay, got a clean bill of health from the doctors who examined him. He told me I had him hurt, but he started to move. He improved a lot since the first fight. I've got no excuses. I wasn't hurt before this fight, and I had great sparring and training. Tonight, he just happened to be better than me.
Thank you, Bernie.
Spoken honestly from a tough guy and a guy who fights an honest fight. Mollo. And right now...
Look at the hand speed and the accuracy, Teddy, from Granados.
Yeah, but don't miss, to me, what I see from a trainer's eye is the legs of Granados. That's setting up the hands. Yeah, that's keeping Salsa confused, off balance, and allowing those hands to come from different places. And that's the key. Granados comes from different places. He can go in the trenches. He's going in there now. You know, he can also box. He can use the ring a little bit. Salsa can only have a chance if Granados goes inside. And Salsa's standing there for that reason. Even though he's taking the worst. Oh, he catches him. And that's where Salsa wanted Granados. And Granados made the mistake of going to the place he didn't belong. Look at him.
He does not have a good foundation underneath him.
And he had no business being inside with a guy who can't match him on the outside. What does he do? He goes inside with Sosa, who was standing there waiting for him. And now Granados fighting for his life.
Another right hand comes in.
Sosa should go to the body.
And he withstands it right to the bell, but what a turnaround in round number 2. Granados was in complete control, and then Salsa caught him.
Forgive me for what I'm going to say, but what an idiot. Granados winning the fight easily. Boxing, moving around all over the place. You can see Sosa had no answers to him. Sosa laying on the ropes, wants Granados to come in. That's the only place Sosa has a chance. And what does Granados do? He grants him that chance. Sometimes you got to be called for what you are. Granados having his way on the outside. Now he goes inside, and he gets nailed, throwing a right hand with his left hand down. Again, bad fundamentals in close. But if he was outside, that right hand wouldn't have found him. He's throwing a right hand, taken for granted, left hand low. Sosa nails him with the right hand. And again, I mean no ill towards Granados. You know, he's a fighter. I take my hat off to him. He gets in that ring. Not too many people could do that. But you got to be smarter than that. When you have the tools that the other guy doesn't have, you have the tools to box, and you're showing him. And then you go to the one place where the other guy has a chance.
Just the second time he's been knocked down in his career. In August of 2011, he was knocked down also in the second round.
Joe, look at this.
Yep.
Sosa can't deal with the outside in the center of the ring. So he lays in the corner, beckoning Granados to come in, begging him. Come in, please.
It's the only way he can get the job done.
Exactly.
Is to have the circumstances that he had in the second round.
But that don't mean you have to agree with him. You have to cooperate with him. You have to do, you know, someone tells you jump off the bridge. You don't jump off the bridge. Someone who can only fight on the inside, you don't go fight on the inside, and there's Granados in a place he doesn't belong.
Left hook landed. Just to put it into perspective, the knockdown punch landed by Salsa was only the 11th punch he landed in the fight.
And that does put into perspective, Joe. Now look, again, Granados, a little better form, better hand speed. He can get the better on the inside, but he takes a risk when he goes in there because that's the only place Salsa, who just swings again and just misses, that's the only place Salsa has a chance. Salsa has no chance on the outside.
Boy, if you're not entertained by this fight card outdoors here at U.S. Cellular Field, then I don't know what gets you going in this sport.
You know, we're in a baseball stadium, right? So I'm going to use a baseball analogy. If you're a pitcher and the scouting report on the hitter is that he can only hit fastballs, and he just hit, let's say he just hit 3 in a row out of the ballpark, and he can't hit a curveball. Well, what do? You throw him curveballs, I guess, right? You don't throw him a fastball.
And
so he can
Sosa.
hit it out of the park. And Granados is throwing fastballs to Sosa, going right inside.
Step back. Let him go.
Salsa with another moment of success. Granados fires back with right hand. Salsa on the inside.
Yeah, that's good for Sosa, bad for Granados again.
Just got him with a thudding right hand. Punch after punch after punch as Granados tries to meet him in between. Non-stop action.
Granados wants to show him that fastball.
Stop back.
Tempting Sosa to hit it over the fence again.
Granados looking to smother him on the inside, touching him to the waistline and trying to get around that glove upstairs.
Granados might have won his round on the inside, but he's taking a risk every time he's there.
One of the all-time greats for the Chicago White Sox, Frank Thomas, the big hurt, power hitter, and boy, have we had power so far tonight on Friday Night Fights. Round number 4 between Mark Salser and Adrian Granados after our heavyweight rematch of Szpilka. Mollo that ended in 5th round knockout. Granados was in complete control. Then he got dropped and was hurt badly in the 2nd round.
This is what Granados should do. In and out, side to side. I wouldn't even go in too often. If I went in, I would temper and control how many punches I throw. I wouldn't throw more than 2 or 3. And I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, Teddy, we always hear trainers say put combinations together. Throw 3, throw 4, throw 5. Yeah, at the right time. If you're fighting a guy who wants to sit on you and you throw too many, well, he can sit on you and he can catch you. So with a guy like this also who has to time you and has to have you standing there to time you, I'm not going to have my guy throw 3 or 4. I'm going to have him throw 2 and then get out. 1, 2, maybe 3 and get out. There, just like he's doing right now. Don't be greedy. To our Italian fans out there, don't be a garbone. You know, have a little something to eat at the table, right, Joe? You know, have a little antipasto, you know, have a little bit, then step away and wait for the main course.
That was very challenging for most of my teenage years, Teddy.
You know, a little prosciutto, you know.
Don't be greedy.
Nice fresh mozzarella, and then step away, relax a little bit. Don't be greedy.
Teddy's got it 29-27. Of course, 10-8 2nd round when Salser caught Granados, who was winning the fight easily.
See, right now he's taking the appetizers and taking a little rest, you know, digest his food a little bit, Joe, move around a little bit. The main course is coming, but don't sit there and fill your plate with everything because you're going to get a stomach ache, you're going to get sick, and you might get knocked out. Well, Granados is showing he's learning something, but Salsa hasn't learned anything, and I'll tell you why. If you don't cooperate with Salsa and sit in the pocket with him, he's useless. He doesn't know how to go after you, doesn't know how to track you down, and he doesn't know how to time you going out. Because watch Granados.
There's that left hand that catches him.
But look at Granados. He steps out with his hands down. You step with him, you can catch him.
Remember, we've got the IBF eliminator for the #1 ranking at 175 pounds coming up in the main event. Andrew Fonfara against the former champ, Gabriel Campillo. Bernardo standing by with Campillo's camp.
Thank you, Joe. Gabriel Campillo is coming off a tune-up win in June after losing to Sergey Kovalev by knockout in round 3. He arrived in Chicago on Sunday in order to acclimate himself to the city. Let's take a look at his fighter facts. He's a former light heavyweight titleist. He had 1 defense, winning the title against Hugo Garay in Argentina in 2009. He successfully defended it against Beybut Shumanov in Kazakhstan and then lost it to him in Las Vegas 5 months later. He's managed by Ring Magazine middleweight champ Sergio Martinez. He trains at Maravilla Box Sports Center in Madrid, where he's been training for this fight since June 20th, and his controversial split decision loss to Tavoris Cloud in February of last year. He rose from the canvas twice in the first round, outboxed Cloud, but then faded down the stretch, leaving the fight in the judges' hands. This fight is an IBF World Title eliminator, and a potential shot at Bernard Hopkins is in play for the winner.
We'll see if that becomes a reality for the winner, as obviously Hopkins at a unique phase
of his career, how he's going about managing things. But that is set to come your way in our main event. For now, round 5 of 8 of what's been a highly entertaining bout between Sulcer and Granados. There's a left hand to the body by Granados, tries to touch him again, and then Sulcer in between punches, back against the ropes and trying to fight out of that position, as Sulcer now holds his ground, an uppercut, a straight right, and then look at Sulcer.
He's gonna get nailed. What did I say? Granados gonna get nailed again. I was just saying it. I said Sulcer by accident. Granados gonna get nailed again. He gets nailed again.
Could see it coming, opening up, being reckless, and he goes down again. This time, he has over 2 minutes to try to survive it. And he's going right back to the middle.
Right there where he knows he's been nailed before, and nailed with right hands. And nailed while he's throwing, because he doesn't cover with his gloves. When he's throwing his own right hand, Granados, his left hand doesn't cover back. He hasn't been taught. That habit hasn't been delivered to him. Hasn't been enforced and forged into him. So when he's throwing, if you throw with him, you're gonna catch him.
And that's exactly what Sulcer has done.
Watch again. Granados, when he throws the right hand, the left hand will be low. And look for Sulcer to time him with the right hand again. Again, it's mind-boggling that Granados, even though he's doing good in spots here, and he's showing heart, he's not showing the brain you want with a fighter. He's staying right there where Sulcer has shown it's the only place he can find him, the only place he can hurt him, the only place he can beat him.
And there's another left hook.
This time it's a left hook.
And Granados on wobbly legs decides to step forward right into the kitchen again. And now he's teeing off with headshots, but yet, to your point, Teddy, he's playing T-ball, just serving it up to Sulcer.
Exactly. Boy, Granados should go talk to, if he doesn't have a trainer who can teach him, he better go talk to a real estate agent and talk about location. Location, location, location. A real estate agent would tell him. And the location should be on the outside for you, not on the inside. There's 2 ways you can catch Granados, and we've seen him. Look, his hands are down. He stands inside, you punch with him, you're gonna nail him. And when he steps back, if you step back with Granados, you're gonna nail him. Because he steps back with his hands low, and his feet are wrong when he steps back. I know we'll get a chance to watch it later on when he steps back, but he steps back instead of with the right foot back, the left foot goes back. He takes too much time going back. Shows a lot of heart here, but again, taking a chance.
Big night in Chicago at U.S. Cellular Field, and the fans getting their money's worth in what has been arguably the most entertaining fight card we've had this Friday night fight season. Let's show you moments ago. Mark Sulcer, 5th round, scoring a knockdown his second night against Granados.
And it's the same way that Sulcer scored the knockdown the first time. With the right hand, with Granados standing there and slugging, getting greedy with him. And as he throws the right hand, Granados, his left hand is low. So Sulcer matches him with the right hand back at him, and it lands clean and scores a knockdown. Simple formula. And what do we got here? Oh, we got Granados inside. Oh,
and he scores a knockdown.
Hey.
As Sulcer takes a knee, there was a body shot that was in the mix just prior to that headshot.
A lot of heart from Granados. Maybe more heart than Sulcer. We'll find out in a minute.
Each man has been down. Granados down twice. Sulcer now trying to survive this 6th round.
Yeah, even though Granados is going to the place where he's been hurt, now he feels like he could just wear out
Headshot.
Sulcer.
Mouthpiece is out. Right hand. And that fight is over. A comeback by Adrian Granados after being down twice. A knockout victory here in his hometown.
Granados made wrong right. He fought in the wrong place, but he made it right. He was tough, he was determined, and that's one time where perseverance won out. Granados sensed that he could be inside, he could wear down Sulcer, even though he was on the floor twice, even though he could have won easily on the outside, even though I didn't think he belonged on the inside, but he wore down Sosa. He's a stubborn guy, Granados, and he got his way tonight. But he better learn the lessons that are there to be learned tonight for the future.
Let's go back to the first knockdown scored by Granados.
Body shot, as you said, Joe, that's what did it. The headshots, a lot of them were being blocked. And the body shot that left took around the elbow near the liver area, that's what took the air out of the sails of Sosa. There it is.
Perfectly placed, Teddy. Perfectly placed.
Those punches up top moved that elbow where he wanted it, and then he came back to finish the job, stayed on the body, kept going downstairs, switched upstairs a little bit, but then he would go back downstairs. He just, you know what?
There were 3 more body shots in there on that last sequence.
Yeah, and that's, Granados sensed that he was tougher than Sosa. I mean, Sosa was tough too, but he sensed that he could break him down. He could just keep banging at that rock, banging at that rock, banging at that rock, until finally it was made into pebbles.
Let's get the official particulars.
Gentlemen, here is the official time. 56 seconds of round number 6. Our referee in charge, Celestino Ruiz, waves off the contest. Your winner by way of technical knockout, Adrian El Tigre Granados.
What a night for these Chicago fans. If they have seen thriller after thriller in the ring so far, and here their hometown guy scores a KO win. But they've seen great moments at U.S. Cellular Field through the years. Remember 05 with that guy in the White Sox? We're talking to Ozzy when we return.
Welcome back to Friday Night Fights. For the first time in over half a century, an outdoor fight card emanates from the home of the Chicago White Sox. What a night it has been. We couldn't ask for anything more from our first 2 fights. 2 knockouts to start the night. And of course, a lot of history in this stadium. Back in 2005, the Chicago White Sox won a World Series title. They didn't win it on this field, though. They won it down in Houston, completing the sweep over the Astros October 26, 2005. A lot of jubilation. Chicago, until that point, hadn't won a World Series since 1917. And one of the heroes is the man on your screen there. And he's now on your screen live and in person. Ozzy Guillen is here tonight. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, listen, you've won World Series games in this park. How electric, though, are the 10,000 fans here tonight?
I love it. That's the first time I come back and I left. You know what? It's really funny because it's more people here than what I thought. I'm a big boxing fan, and it's a great turnout. Hopefully, we bring it back more often because I think Chicago people need boxing because now we start fighting more. Please, we need these more.
I think after tonight, they certainly will bring it back. Now, I understand back in Venezuela, you fought in the ring yourself a couple times.
Well, I tried, you know what I mean? Thank God the kid's name, Carlos Sanoja, he knocked me down in the second round, and I threw the glove out, and I turned myself to be a baseball player. That's a great idea. Thank God this kid made my career different.
It was a good decision, I'm
That's
sure.
a great decision.
Looking back, though, when you were growing up, did you have a favorite fighter, someone that you loved watching fight in the ring?
Oh, one guy, Mr. Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez. I think Manuel Piedra Duran, I grew up watching those guys play. They fight all the time. And I got the privilege to meet Julio Cesar doing the ESPN gig in New York. To me, it was my biggest day. And I want his kid to fight in Chicago. I'm going to talk to him to fight in Chicago.
Well, certainly a lot of Mexican fans here tonight as well. Talk about the multicultural society here in Chicago, how they're from all over the world and how they like different sports. I mean, they support football, baseball, boxing, hockey, basketball.
I think Chicago got a great fans. You know what I mean? I think in those sports we're not doing too good. We still support them. You know what I mean? Every sport event we put in Chicago, people come out and watch, support it. And I think in boxing here's a lot. You know, I've been watching. You know, last couple of weeks I was watching a boxing match. It was a lot of people, and you can see today here the turn down very well.
I know you're enjoying tonight's fights. Thanks for stopping by. When's the next time we can see you on ESPN Deportes?
Oh, it'd be Sunday. You know, Sunday I have a blast. You know what I mean? I have a blast with ESPN. I'm having fun. I do what I like to do. It's been great.
Well, again, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the main event.
Thank you. I will.
All right.
It's been great fight. Last couple of fights.
Ozzie Guillen, 2005 World Series champion with the Chicago White Sox. Speaking of champions, next week the IBF title is on the line. Argenis Mendez taking on Urash Usmani. It is our final Friday night fights of the year. ESPN 2, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming up, what a fight it's going to be. The hometown hero via Poland, Andrzej Fonfara, taking on Gabriel Campillo.
ESPN Friday Night Fights brought to you by Corona Extra on a beautiful summer night here in Chicago, in a city that has seen all the greats through the years, from Joe Louis and Sugar Ray Robinson to some history just across the street where we are right now, when Sonny Liston had his first round knockout of Floyd Patterson. That was back in 1962. And tonight, bridging all those years, the next time we are here at what used to be Comiskey U.S. Cellular Field for our main event between Andrew Fonfara and Gabriel Campillo. IBF light heavyweight title eliminator. Campillo, 34 years old, 9 years the senior, and of course he is a former titleist, but the Polish fighter based here in Chicago has enjoyed a great amount of fan support, and he will see that come through when he makes his way to the ring here. As Campillo comes in now with a mark of 22-5-1 and 9 knockouts, won the title back in 2009, lost it to Bebut Shumanov in January of 2010. 6-4-1 in his last 11 fights. This is 4th bout in the U.S. Had back-to-back losses in 2012 and in January of 2013 in Texas and Connecticut to Boris Cloud, and then Kovalev got rid of him in 3. Bounced back with a win in June back home in Spain. And Andrew Fonfara, 6'2", 173 pounds, based here in Chicago, 23-2. Had surgery on a broken right hand, hasn't fought in 9 months, came to the U.S. at 19 years old, had a bad showing on Friday Night Fights back in 08, but then had a magical moment when he retired Glenn Johnson, the former world titleist, back in July of 2012, a 10-round decision win right here in Chicago. Here at a famous ballpark, and Teddy has a special guest for the fight plan brought to you by Corona Extra.
When you're doing a fight at a baseball stadium, well, you come prepared, expecting plenty of hits. So I figured, why not bring someone along who could help me field some of them? Ron Kittle, former Rookie of the Year and All-Star for the Chicago White Sox. Good having you.
Thanks for having me out here.
You've knocked a few out of the ballpark, that is. I mean, you're a big hitter.
It's a little easier to hit a baseball than it is to stand here and take punishment.
Oh, I'm not so sure. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, that's not the easiest thing in the world either. But I think that the guy with the big stick in this case is Fonfara. Neither one of these guys are Babe Ruth, but Fonfara, the right hand. And it should work good against you, who you're going to play, Campillo, who's a southpaw. And guess what? Southpaws get hit with right hand.
Absolutely.
Get into your southpaw position. Well, have you ever stolen a sign where you know where the pitch is coming?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that this is a case where Fonfara, if he did his homework, he should be able to steal the sign. He should know exactly where Campillo's head is moving. It's always to the left.
Always to the left.
Yes, it is. So, if you're Fonfara, well, you lay the punt down. Little feint of the left hand, get him to move there, and then bang! Go for the fences with the big right hand. Knock it right out. And then trot around, you know, and enjoy the victory.
Enjoy the victory.
The way you used to trot around these faces.
That was more fun.
This is fun, too. All right, now how does Campillo make sure that Fonfara goes for the collar? In other words, no hits. Well, the first thing he can do is watch his delivery. In other words, after he pitches, what does he do? Well, after he throws his punches. Fonfara, Campillo. Fonfara, I noticed when he throws the 1-2, he's pretty standard. He goes straight back with his hands up. So he throws bang, bang. He goes back with his hands up. Well, what does the southpaw Campillo do? Step with him, bang, with that right hook, bang, right around the ears here. You do that, well, you remember those old-time pitchers, they used to jump that ball up. They used to have Vaseline back here a little bit.
Absolutely. And they got you out and they knocked you out.
And made that ball do all kinds of wobbly things.
Little wobbly, little knuckleball.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way Fonfara might be, a little wobbly.
Nice job with the 83 Rookie of the Year. Good to have Ron Kittle with us.
Great to have him.
His opponent across the ring in this main event, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He's wearing blue and white trunks and weighed in at 173 pounds. A native of Białowieża, Poland, he is now fighting out of Chicago, Illinois. And his record consists of 23 wins, 2 defeats, with 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the number 4 ranked contender by the IBF and IBO light heavyweight champion of the world, the Polish Prince, Artur Fonfara.
Gino Rodriguez will be our referee for this 12-rounder that is acting as an IBF title eliminator for the #1 spot.
Okay, gentlemen, you got your instructions. I want you to obey my command at all times, protect yourself at all times, all right? Campillo, recibiste mis instrucciones, obedece mis instrucciones todo el tiempo, protege todo el tiempo, suerte.
Campillo has lost 2 of his last 3, Joe. He only has 1 win in his last 4, but all to good fighters. The former WBA world champion, Campillo.
Fonfara came out and threw that right hand right away, a right hand that he broke back in November of 2012 against Tommy Karpensi.
I'm going to tell you right now, Fonfara doesn't hurt Campillo early. I think Fonfara might be in for a tough night. And if Fonfara is going to hurt Campillo, it's going to be with the right hand. He favors that right hand. That's his favorite punch. That's his Sunday punch, I guess you would say. And Campillo gets hit with right hands. Campillo was knocked out 2 fights ago by right hands. And I'm sure Fonfara is aware of that.
Fonfara's already done a nice job to the body with that right hand.
The early part is the important part, I think, right now for the 34-year-old former champion, Campillo. Campillo, Joe's been getting hurt early in fights lately. Even when you go back to Tavora's Cloud, that a lot of people thought he won that fight. I did too. He was down 2 times in that fight in the first round.
Then he brought himself back, boxed well, deep into it. Now there's a straight left hand from the southpaw.
I have doubts about Fonfara, I'm going to tell you right now. Again, he's the favorite here. He's the hometown kid. He's the hope of a lot of these fans. But if Campillo, at 34 years old, has any juice left, I think it's going to be interesting and maybe tough for the local kid. And again, the early round's important for Campillo to survive. Fonfara 9 years younger. Fonfara looks a little tight to me. You know, Campillo's been on this stage many, many times. Fonfara early on, I know he's in shape, but he's already got his mouth open, and he just looks like a guy that knows that this is a bigger stage than he's been on before.
By a mile. The setting alone, the pressure, the hometown, a packed ballpark here. The Polish fans out in force with high expectations, a title eliminator compared to a guy who's had a belt around his waist.
You know, we know that Fonfara, and I said in the fight plan, was going to look for right hands. Well, Campillo knows it too. And he's looking to slip those right hands, Campillo, not get caught with that punch.
Reminder, go to the Friday Night Fight Facebook page and score along with Teddy and the ringside judges. Click on the live scoring. You get that opportunity right now as we come to the end of round number 1 of our scheduled 12-round main event.
Are you making it just any night, or are you making it remember that night? With America's #1 choice, Pizza Hut. Now get great pizza at a great price. The $10 any carry-out deal. Any pizza, any size, any toppings. Now just $10 when you carry out. Tonight, make it great.
Don't let unfresh pitch ruin your game. Next time, use Right Guard Extreme Fresh. With 72 hours of uncompromising freshness, it's the antiperspirant that changes your game. Right Guard for the win.
Teddy, let's look at tonight's foolproof punch of the night, brought to you by Just for Men.
There it is, that left hand directed to the right spot. Watch how Mollo blinds himself with his left glove. There's that left glove, blinded him. And there's the left hand of Szpilka, who's still undefeated, putting him to sleep.
That was the rematch that got the night started, and now celebration for Artur Szpilka as he's made his way ringside, getting congratulations from all the fans. As Szpilka moves his mark to 16-0 with 12 knockouts, once again dismissing Mike Mollo as he did back on February 1st, but Szpilka himself was down in the fight again tonight. By the way, you can see a replay of that on ESPN3.com, highlights on ESPN.com's boxing page.
I'm going to say it again, maybe a little differently, but I think Fonfara may have big problems if he doesn't hurt Campillo early on. You don't want a former champion to start feeling like a champion again. One thing that should give Fonfara some confidence going in here, he beat a southpaw in his last fight, Joe, and he's facing a lefty tonight, but a better lefty than he fought in his last fight. A lot better. You know, usually I give combined records of the last several opponents. You know, when they've been, let's say, weak opponents. Well, this is a little different, and I'm gonna give the last several ages of opponents that Fonfara has faced. In his last 5 fights, 3 of his opponents have been 38 years old or older, and the other 2 were 42 and 43 years old. So Fonfara been fighting a lot of older guys, fighting a 34-year-old tonight too. But he's been fighting a lot of older guys. You know, a couple of fights ago, he beat the former champion, Glenn Johnson.
Retired that night.
Yeah, retired, then came back. He was 43 years old when he beat Johnson. So his people are obviously taking former world champions 2 in a row that are older, and they think beyond themselves. In the twilight, let's say that. In the twilight of their career, at a lesser part of their career, that's what they figure. Let's find out if they figured right against the former champion tonight, who, yes, he's older, but he's 34, he's not 43.
I'll tell you, there was a sneaky little right uppercut there moments ago by Campillo. By the way, it's been a fun night here in Chicago, and trending right now on Twitter is simply this: #boxing. Obviously, a lot of folks on Twitter probably saying, are you watching this fight with Szpilka Mollo early on? That got a #SC Top 10 for the knockout that we showed you earlier tonight. But good night for the sport overall when you get this kind of crowd in this kind of a setting and good action in the ring.
Joe, Fonfara's in trouble. I mean, look, he still might land the right hand. He's still 9 years younger, but keep watching this fight, because I think Campillo is starting to realize that maybe he can have his way here.
There's
I really do.
Long-range right hand.
I said in this setup before they got in the ring that Fonfara might have trouble tonight. He just had trouble with those 2 punches. That's all I know.
His fan support out in force, as they've been all night from the heavyweight fight forward, the Polish fans here in Chicago. But boy, in that last round, Gabriel Campillo in round number 2 just started to find himself and get really comfortable.
You know, I said it before 2 fights ago. Fonfara was also in the ring with an aging former world champion. We said it. Johnson, 43 years old at the time, and it worked out for him, gaining his biggest win of his career. Now here he goes again, rolling the dice, his people, but this aging former champion is not quite as old. And it's another step up in competition for Fonfara. We'll find out whether or not his people are rolling the dice for the second time versus a former champion. On the downside, we'll find out if they come up snake eyes this time.
Remember, Campillo had those 2 back-to-back losses, but then coming off a tune-up win back on June 14th. And look at the confidence as he lets his hands go. He's had success with straight lefts here in this 3rd round and then got to the inside moments ago.
Sit down, get comfortable at home, stay comfortable. It's been a great night here. You might see an upset. You might see a former world champion start to think that he can be a champ again, at least against the local kid, Fonfara, who hasn't really been tested yet. And, you know, and the thing that worries me about Fonfara, I said it from the beginning, I said in the fight plan, he depends on his right hand to land against the southpaw Campillo, who has been, and Campillo has been hurt with right hands. But I don't think Fonfara is a great right hand puncher. I think he's decent, but not great.
Campillo now touching him with that right jab, putting it out there accurately. Now small steps forward as Fonfara tried to catch him with that left hand.
Just like we're looking for right hands from Fonfara, look for that right hook. Look for those round punches around the gloves of Fonfara from Campillo. Watch for those, that right hook, like we said in the fight plan, that goes around the glove when Fonfara puts those earmuffs on. Like right now, he's going back. See how he goes back straight and he puts those earmuffs on, Fonfara? When he goes back straight and puts those earmuffs up, goes into that peekaboo like that, he's asking for trouble. I think Campillo recognizes that and sees that. A good round again for Campillo. I don't know what the judges are looking at, but I know I'm looking at a former champion that had a couple good rounds here. In the fight plan, we said Fonfara, watch him, he goes back, puts those earmuffs on, goes straight back. Campillo can go with him and catch him. Campillo seems to understand that, sense that, look for that. It's going to be interesting the rest of the way.
How about that view behind what would be a home plate shot at a Chicago White Sox game as we reverse our angle here as the ring is set up right against the backstop here at U.S. Cellular in what has been just a fantastic night for the sport. A big crowd in a big stadium enjoying good, fun action in the ring as it continues here into round number 4 in an IBF title eliminator. Former titleist in Campillo, Chicago-based prospect with a big fan following in Fonfara.
Fonfara, very simple. I think too simple. 1, 2, then he covers up like that, and he pulls back. You're that simple. You're that uncomplicated. A former champion like Campillo should be able to figure you out.
Let's look at Teddy's scorecard. And Teddy, you've talked about the appreciation you had from the second round forward with Campillo, 29-28, 2 rounds to 1 here, a minute into round number 4. You, the fans at home, see it the same exact way as Teddy. You can join in at any moment after the end of each round on Facebook. Click on the Friday Night Fight live scoring button and join in. See if you match up with Teddy at the end. See if you match up with the 3 ringside judges, who will see how they view this tonight. Of course, the fan support and the reaction every time Fonfara throws out that jab compared to the work and the steady progress and the rhythm that Campillo's found himself in. There's a good pot shot by Campillo. I've seen plenty of that.
Well, we've had honest fighters all night. I just hope we have honest judges. That's all I'm going to say.
No, we haven't needed them so far. Szpilka 5th round knockout, Granado 6th round KO. Both men getting up off the canvas to do so.
You know, Campillo, for the most part, is a boxer. You know, he's pretty slick. He fights only in spots. You know, he's only got 8 knockouts in 28 fights. But tonight, I think he can be a walk-down guy, a seek-and-destroy guy. I really do. I think he could back up Fonfara. I don't know if he's going to do it, but I think that I would tempt him to think about it if I was in the corner, to walk down Fonfara. I think he can walk him down and nail him shots.
There's a small cut that's opened up in the corner of the left eye of Andrew Fonfara. Right near the brow there. That was a good, solid left hand from the Spaniard.
Campillo's starting to look like the guy I'm talking about. He's walking him down. He's starting to feel what I'm seeing. He's seeing the same thing, that he can walk this guy down and maybe expose this local kid.
Such confidence by Campillo right now as Fonfara comes in with headshots.
Little swelling under the right eye of Campillo. The cut man better get that end swell, that piece of metal that you put in ice to take the swelling down. Better get it ready.
And Fonfara's corner is going to deal with that minor cut there, showing a little bit of blood near that left eye. Good action here in our main event from Chicago. Stay with us, short break. Corner of Campillo.
So not corner, not water. Forget about the water. Where's the end swell? Where's the end swell? The right eye of the former champion is swelling. They needed to apply an end swell, and they did not apply an end swell.
So Campillo up off the stool.
Water, who needs water?
Against Fonfara for round number 5 after he has seemingly taken control in the middle of the second round forward.
I'm telling you right now, if that right eye closes, and it's closing a little bit, of Campillo, he should fire his corner for not putting that end swell on that eye early on to stop that swelling.
Now Fonfara trying to touch him with that left hand. Goes to the body, then back up top, looking for a combination with the right hand behind it.
The cut man for Campillo, if you're wondering, Oscar Sanchez.
CompuBox offers up this as Campillo puts together 3 power shots, and you see the power punches, 54 to 52.
And he's not a power puncher, like I said, 28 fights, only 8 knockouts, but he can be one tonight. I really believe it. And he's starting to act like it. I said it earlier, Joe. Walk him down, and he's walking Fonfara down.
There's a nice body punch in the midst there. He got that right hand to the left flank of Fonfara.
You know, when we had a break earlier, I looked at my texts. I don't usually do that, but I saw my wife, Elaine, text me and said, "Did you have caffeine today?" I said, "No, I'm outdoors in a ballpark where there's been great history in Chicago, where Sugar Ray Robinson and Joe Louis have fought right across the street. I'm excited."
Listen, you can breathe it in here tonight. I said it before, I'll say it again. This is what the sport can be.
This
big
is
city,
helping the sport.
Big stadium, great action fights, well priced, not filling a casino ballroom, giving fight fans exactly what they deserve. Local base fighters taking big steps up, being well matched. We've seen that with the Polish contingency here in Chicago.
I'm telling you, Fonfara's getting knocked out tonight, okay? I know that I step out on the line more than most commentators do all the time, but unless that eye closes on Campillo, and if that eye closes, I'm going to scream at the corner of Campillo, because really they should be ashamed of themselves not putting an end swell on that eye. But Campillo's starting to break down Fonfara.
There's a good 1-2.
Cut man for Fonfara, Rick Fornato.
Just like you said, walking him down. Campillo confidently taking strides forward. Now Fonfara looking to work behind that jab.
Yeah, Campillo's saying to himself, like a lot of the kids in our gyms, I hear them say all the time in the Dr. Atlas Foundation Cops and Kids gyms that we run, these great kids, they say, "I got this, I got this." I think Campillo feels like he's got it.
It's a better last 30 seconds for Fonfara here.
Yeah, but Campillo coming back.
Right back.
Coming right back.
Short right uppercut on the inside. What a great night of action here. Corner of Campillo working on their charge. They did tend to that right eye for a moment there. It was with a block of ice, Teddy.
Yeah, I guess they don't have an end swell. They have a block eye. Hey, look, it's better than nothing. At least they put some ice on it. I would have liked to see them keep it on there a little longer, but hey, at least they did pay attention to it. They did act on it. And it's a lot better than many years ago what we saw in the corner in Tokyo in that inept corner of Mike Tyson when he got knocked out by Buzzer Douglas.
When Rory Holloway and John Horn were acting as trainers?
And Jake Wright was imitating whatever you want to call that. I don't know what he was trying to be, but they had a balloon with water in it and was putting it on Tyson's eye as it was swelling right in front of the audience. But at least the corner of Campillo, at least they had a piece of ice, not a balloon with water in it. So that's a step in the right direction.
Round number 6. As Teddy has already gone out on that ledge and says he sees a knockout coming. That the local fighter, the favorite fighter, Fonfara, the guy who's looking for that ride up and get himself a world title shot in this title eliminator, could be going away if Campillo can keep things up here and walk him down. Tried to get around that guard with the right hand, did Fonfara. Remember the left eye of Fonfara with a small cut that started in round number 4. Now he's looking to headshot a bit here.
You know, Campillo should be able to win this fight. I mean, I said it from the beginning, but really now he should be able to win it because he's got a guy in front of him who's very standing. All he's got to worry about is the right hand. And a guy who's experienced as Campillo shouldn't get hit with the right hand. I'm sorry, he really shouldn't. He should move to his right all night long, Campillo, away from the right hand. The one weapon that Fonfara has. But don't move straight back.
No, don't stay in the path of it.
Another good round for Campillo. You know what I'm dying to do?
What's that?
I'm dying to be able to fly, but I don't know how to fly over the judges right now and see who they have winning this fight. Because if they don't have Campillo winning, I'd like to start screaming.
William Lurch, Scott Dexter, Harry Davis assigned to this fight here in Chicago.
I'd rather scream now than, you know, really lose my mind later. Judges were to rob Campillo if he continues.
You've done that a few times in Chicago through the years.
Oh, yes, I have. That swollen eye of Campillo, it's still getting swollen though. That's the only thing bothering him so far.
ESPN Friday Night Fights is presented by Corona Extra, proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always encourages you to relax responsibly. If they had a show here at U.S. Cellular 51 years after Sonny Liston and Floyd Patterson at Old Comiskey Park just across the street, now a parking lot, and you get the sense they're going to want to do it again. Great reception for boxing here on the south side of Chicago. Round number 7 of our IBF light heavyweight title eliminator.
You know, I think Fonfara is feeling a little desperate now. I mean, he's coming out, he's throwing right hands, but early in the round, I think he tried to pull a little bit of a fast one, looking for an advantage. Fonfara, he came out and he stepped right on the foot of the southpaw. Now that happens a lot with an orthodox fighter and a southpaw. There he goes again. That happens a lot, where the lead left foot of the orthodox fighter, in this case Fonfara, will step on the lead right foot of the southpaw, in this case Campillo. I'm wondering if Fonfara did it on purpose early on. You know, you step on a guy's foot sometimes. If you can do it on purpose, you get an advantage. He can't move. He tries to pull away. What happens? His hands drop. There it is again. He gets off balance a little bit. Hopefully direct. I think he's on top of it. He's looking at the feet right now. But 4 times this round, I've seen Fonfara left foot step on the right foot of Campillo. And again, what's the advantage? Well, the guy that's getting his foot stepped on, Joe, he pulls out, and what happens? He can fall. He exposes himself. He falls back, and then you can hit him when he's vulnerable.
And we've seen referees blow that call before as well. There's a short left uppercut on the inside. Now a left hand followed by a right uppercut. And look at him teeing off there, just picking his shots, stopping and popping. And now Fonfara comes to the inside, misses with that glancing right hand.
Come back, come back, come back.
See, I don't understand two things about the corner of Campillo. I think he's winning the fight, like I said. I think he's winning it.
Right hand
I think he's winning handily. But I'd like to see two things with the corner of Campillo. Maybe three things. One, end swell or something. Keep it on the ice. Keep the ice on the eye, the right eye of Campillo. The other thing is, tell him to back this guy up. Fonfara doesn't know how to fight going backwards. He really does. Back him up and get him out of there before you let him lay around with a 34-year-old, maybe get lucky. And the one, again, stepping on the foot again. Fonfara just stepped on Campillo's foot, and Campillo almost got off balance because of it.
Often a concern with Orthodox versus Southpaw, and it has showed up here.
Here's what I thought I saw at the beginning of the last round, and I was right, I did see it. Fonfara comes right out, steps on the foot, there it is, on the foot of Campillo, and here's another look right here. Fonfara steps on the foot of Campillo. Now for Campillo, when he tries to pull back, gets off balance for a second, he could have been exposed. You never know the tricks of the trade sometimes, especially if a man's desperate, and I think Fonfara is getting to that desperate neighborhood.
Round 8, a lot on the line in his career as a 25-year-old, a contender, ranked in the BO number 3, the IBF number 4, but this is a title eliminator. Try to get that number 1 slot in the IBF at 175 pounds. CompuBox putting together the total power punches and the advantage for Campillo, 100 to 81 as we begin this 8th round.
I'd like to know what the fans have it. I wonder if they have it the same way as I have it, because I got one guy winning this fight. And then, of course, I would like to know what the judges have, because if this fight continues this way, the judges should be put in handcuffs if they don't have Campillo winning the fight, at least so far. And I'd love to put them in handcuffs, because I think sometimes judges need to be put in something, be held accountable when they destroy young men's careers.
Let's look at Teddy's card while we're on the subject of judges. 69-64 as Campillo taking control in the 2nd round forward. And Teddy appreciating the work he's been doing. You, the viewer at home, 6 rounds to 1. You can join in at any point on the Friday Night Fight Facebook page.
That eye, look again, that eye, look at that eye, that right eye. That's the one thing that can really change this fight, is that right eye is continuing to swell, and the corner hasn't done a great job with it. They really haven't, and that's their job. Gets me upset when a fighter does his job and the corner doesn't do theirs.
Well, there was a good 4.5 minutes that went by from the moment where the realization of the swelling to when they actually got ice on it. They wasted an entire round and in-between round until they got to it.
And you know, they need to tell, if I can see, they need to see Campillo could back this guy up. Back him up. Don't keep going back in front of him, where Fonfara has a chance to land that right hand. Again, if I'm in the corner of Campillo, I'm telling him either move to your right, away from the right hand, or just back this guy up. Because he can't fight going backwards. He goes straight back, and he gets nailed.
Oh,
there's the right hand. There's the right hand that you got to worry about. And he caught him, and he hurt him. But it's at the end of the round.
And the bell comes in at a perfect time for Campillo.
Well, Fonfara doesn't usually move his head, but he did. And surprise, surprise, he moves his head, he slips the right-hand jab of Campillo, and he counters with a nice right hand, the best right hand he landed all night, the cleanest right hand all night, and a right hand that Campillo really didn't see. And he got hurt The bad news, Campillo got hurt. The good news was at the end of the round, Campillo survived.
Campillo trying to make a statement, coming out throwing here early in round number 9. He was hurt there at the end of round 8. That right eye swelling is much, much worse here as he begins the 9th round. Trying to work on the inside. Fonfara shooting off a jab. Now gets to the inside, touching the body and going upstairs.
Again, if Fonfara is allowed to go forward, that's the one thing he knows how to do. He's pretty standing. But if you back him up, he doesn't know how to do that. He goes straight back. He can get nailed with shots. And again, I said it earlier, the one thing you have to worry with Fonfara is the right hand. That's all you have to worry about. Why is Campillo continue to be straight in front of him and pull straight out? Why doesn't he move to the right, away from the right hand? Or get in tight and back him up, where the feet are moving backwards of Fonfara, and he can't do that. He can't move forward and punch with the right hand. See, when he's moving forward, Fonfara, he's good. He can move forward. He can shift his weight forward. He can punch forward. But when he's going backwards, he's not good.
He was coming forward moments ago, landed that right hand, and now it's Campillo trying to walk him down again. Fonfara takes that step forward, meets him with a left hand to the body. Wide looping right hand, getting around the guard. The left hand landed. Headshot scoring for Fonfara. Body shot came in, and a second knockdown score. And so bad cut on the left eye. The fight is over. Fonfara wins by knockout.
I wonder what the scores were, because that was a fight Campillo was winning up into the last 2 rounds. Give credit to Fonfara. I thought he would have trouble tonight, and he did have trouble tonight, but he pulled it out, and that's what matters.
So add that to the list of great action here on Friday Night Fights at US Cellular Field. Yet another knockout win in front of this big crowd in the big league park, and they are loving it as the Chicago-based Pole, Andrew Fonfara, comes back after struggling in the middle rounds to score a knockout in round number 9.
Let's not forget, Campillo, 34 years old. You know, he had lost 2 of his last 3, only 1 win in his last 4, knocked out 2 fights ago. It figured that late in the fight he might wear a little bit. Fonfara, 9 years younger, maybe that youth would show itself, and it did. I thought Campillo fought a pretty good fight, was ahead in the fight, but still surprised that he was standing right in front, not moving to his right, away from that right hand.
There's a cut that opened up over that left eye. Fonfara now celebrating, the Polish flag waving here at what used to be Comiskey.
Hey, if Fonfara and his people can keep fighting old former world champs that are 34 or older,
I know you're tough.
he might keep winning for a long time.
That's what you had to do.
Born and raised in a small town outside of Warsaw. His parents came here and moved with him to Chicago. And let's go back and show you how he finished it off.
Fonfara's mostly right hand. This time, again, right hand. Not the straight right hand this time. The right uppercut that started things. And here will be the finish of things. The right hand again, the right uppercut again. And we were wrong. It didn't look like a body shot.
Well, there's a right hand to the body that gets in after the... There's the one to the eye. Then comes a right hand to the body right there.
Oh, you're right. The right hand to the solar plexus. That did get in. That did get in to the solar plexus. And there it is. Another look. The right hand to the body. As you first saw, Joe, of Campillo, right in the middle there, the solar plexus. That will do the job. That will make all the air come out of your body. That's that little space. If you take your hands, you take your fingers, and you put it into the middle of your stomach, just below the chest bone, there's a little space there. It's the solar plexus. You get hit there, guess what? You have no air. You go down. Campillo got hit there. He had no air. He went down.
Here are the official particulars with Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 1 minute 37 seconds of round number 9. Our referee in charge, Gino Rodriguez, waves off the count of 10. Your winner by way of knockout, the Polish Prince, Andrew Fonfara.
That was for the #1 slot in the IBF. Bernard Hopkins has a mandatory defense coming up on October 26, but Fonfara has put himself in position for something good. Knockout victory against the former titleist. We will hear from Fonfara when we return to Friday Night Fights. Already a lot of buzz on social media saying one of the best fight cards, great venue, high energy nights that we've ever seen on Friday Night Fights. Boy, oh boy, do they agree here at US Cellular Field on the south side of Chicago, where one of their fan favorites came up with a knockout victory, and he's standing by with Bernardo Osuna.
Thank you, Joe. Andrew, talk to me about what it meant to do what you did, winning by knockout in a title eliminator in front of these great fans.
It's a great thing, you know. I thanks, first of all, my old camp, my old team, my old sparring partners who prepared me for this fight. I'm happy about that. I'm first in the ranking IBF. And I know I'm just warrior, you know. I fight for the end of the fight, and that I'm winning this fight.
This is the 3rd world titleist you've beat in your career. This is your 11th knockout in your last 12 fights. Walk us through how you were able to finish this fight.
Campillo is very tough fighter. He's lefty, and he's very sneaky, you know. He punch very more punch. And we have tactic for him, you know, pressure. You know, this is easy, like you know, say, you know, it's more different if you go in the ring. Then I go my best. I beat Campillo. I knock him head. This is my determination. This is what I'm training. I want to be a world champion. But I want more in defense, you know, because you know I know my mistakes. I have hard punch, but I, you know, must train, you know, more defense. You know, I'm very critical about me. Then I must, you know, think about, you know, more defense, more. But I counter him one time good. Then I'm happy about that. You know, I'm with this fight. I want to, you know, thank you all one time, my brother, my whole team, my manager, Frank, Max, Frank,
and all the fans, here at US Cellular Field who made this a very memorable night, which will go down in history, especially for Friday Night Fights, as one of the best crowds that we've ever had. A big knockout, had to go through the first cut of his career. The big winner tonight, Andrew Fonfara.
It started with the heavyweight rematch where Warsaw's Artur Szpilka thrilled us with a 5th round knockout of Chicago's Mike Mollo. Granados had the 6th round knockout, and Fonfara caps it with a 9th round knockout. 24th win of his career. #1 now in the IBF at 175 pounds. Let's check in with Todd Grisham. Todd?
So the first fight card outdoors in Chicago in over a half century is in the books. It was a rousing success. Hopefully we don't have to wait until 2063 to see another one here in the Windy City. And believe it or not, next week is our final week of the season. That's right, Friday Night Fights coming to you live from Verona, New York. But we've got a title fight going out the door. Our parting shot to you, Argenis Mendez versus Arash Usmani for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. For the entire Friday Night Fights crew, Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas, Bernardo Osuna, I'm Todd Grisham. NFL Live is next.